there's news that I like as of right now when it comes to HBAR. And what is that? Not too long ago, Kraken made a post on X and it said that HBAR is finally live on Kraken. Now, before someone says, oh, take a look at this other exchange, all this type of stuff, sure, something like Kraken isn't as popular as some others out there, in my opinion, at least in some cases. But then at the same time, we have to take a look at CoinMarketCap. According to them, as of right now, in terms of top spot exchanges, Kraken is ranked number 14. Now that's very amazing. We got to think about how it's not like there's only 15 exchanges or whatever. I mean, there's a bunch out there. So the fact that Kraken is, again, allegedly, according to that ranking, number 14, I don't see why that's so bad. I mean, because I get it. Some people out there are saying, oh, for a project to do good, they have to advertise with this athlete or this celebrity or do this event or whatever. But the way you take a look at it is that being listed in more exchanges, arguably, I would think is actually a better way to make a project more well known, because let's just think about this. If, let's say, I made a project, right? And then I hired, an athlete or celebrity to talk about it, and maybe some of the fans of the celebrities or the athlete, let's say they hear about the project, but let's say they're not even, paying attention to the space. They don't care about, let's say the whole crypto space, whatever, right? Let's say they don't care about that. How would that, kind of, talking about it really affect the project in a good way? Sure, it can make it more popular, but then if people don't really know about it, what's the point? If, let's say, I'm already kind of in this space anyways, and I have exchanges and I take a look at a project on there, arguably, that is something that is, I think, better in terms of gaining popularity. However, Hedera is not only just not caring about anything else, because, for instance, we saw what Hedera did with Karate Combat, and maybe that's not in the scale of what VeChain does with UFC and Power Slap and whatnot, but then I still think it's pretty cool nonetheless when it comes to Hedera, so I don't really think it's a bad project, to me at least. And if I take a look at Hedera Hashgraph, the special thing I think that makes it so unique and so different is that while other projects out there use traditional blockchain technology, Hedera Hashgraph uses something called a directed acyclic graph, which I just think arguably has better fundamentals than, let's say, compared to some of its counterparts that do use traditional blockchain technology, because arguably, when it comes to a directed acyclic graph, it's very scalable. Like, for instance, Hedera's native services can reliably scale up to 10,000 transactions per second and beyond. I mean, that's very impressive. Usually improved data storage, for instance, as well. Hedera, allegedly per transaction on average, consumes less energy than Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana. There's a bunch of others, but I'm just listing a few here. This is what I like about Hedera. Now, granted, when it comes to Hedera's adoption, some people may argue that, it's not necessarily the best. And I can see that, and I do agree with that to a certain extent, because if I take a look at a directed acyclic graph, it's just so unique, it's so different, to the point that it's going to take quite a while, in my opinion, before this kind of has that mass scale attention, much like blockchain technology. So I think it's nothing that surprises me, though, because anything that is, I think, new and kind of different than sometimes what people are accustomed to with traditional blockchain technology, I think sometimes, again, it may take some time to kind of shift the focus towards that. And I get it when it comes to a decentralized exchange on Hedera, much like Saucer Swap, it's not like it's necessarily the most popular thing. So I get kind of the doubts there. But for me, when I take a look at Hedera, when I take a look at its governing council, which allegedly includes Google, Mondelez, I take a look at LG, Ubisoft. I mean, there's a bunch of others, but I'm just saying, when I take a look at that whole package, so to speak, when it comes to Hedera, it is something that I'm still very excited for. I don't want to just, randomly give up when it comes to HBAR. And why would I? I mean, take a look at the price of HBAR as of right now. Pretty decent recovery, right? Sure, still a ways to go from its, most previous top, I would say. But then at the same time, I like what I'm seeing as of right now when it comes to altcoins. I'm still staying patient. And again, Kraken, I do think that when it comes to Hedera, that's a big victory, I think, hypothetically for them, because if, let's say, the markets do really pick up in a massive way, let's say we do see a fully fledged type of altcoin season, like maybe what we saw back in 2021, but maybe hypothetically better, a project having better exposure, being listed in more exchanges, I don't see why that would be bad. Because, for instance, if I don't know what Hedera is, how would I know what it is? You know what I mean? I'm still staying patient. Let's say HBAR went to the price of $3. As of right now, that right there is around a 14x from here. And again, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $127 billion. I'm totally aware that some people may think, oh, take a look at this microcap. What is this going to do in all this? Oh, 14x. Some people may think, for whatever reason, that is like bad. But the way you take a look at it is this. What is BNB going to do in the next 6 to 10 months? BNB's current market cap is nearly $100 billion. Is that doing a 14x in the next 6 to 10 months? I don't know about that. Ethereum, if it were to reach 10 grand, that is like slightly over a 3x from here. Bitcoin reaching 300 grand is actually slightly less than a 3x from here. So, I mean, HBAR, Bitcoin, BNB, Ethereum, as of right now, there's only one thing that stands out in my perspective when I list those projects, right? Because personally for me, I get it, HBAR, lower market cap, but isn't that kind of why I'm in the world of this, right? I mean, I get it. I don't necessarily want to just believe in microcaps, but then I don't really want to focus all my attention on these like projects that quote unquote already kind of have this dinosaur status in a sense. I don't want that where the market cap's just like way too massive. So I think HBAR is a pretty good balance in between for me. I'm still going to believe in it. And again, if let's say altcoins do start heading in the right direction, maybe all the way up until the end of this year and maybe continuing on till maybe the beginning of next year, who knows? Let's say Bitcoin goes to even greater heights. Let's say maybe hypothetically 300 grand. Would $3 surprise me when it comes to HBAR? It wouldn't surprise me, but that's just the way I take a look at it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.